What's up, everybody? This is Chris Talks Crypto. I just want to make a video looking at Coinbase. I think it's going to be one of the plays that people are not really expecting over the next year or two. It is one of the major players in the crypto space. If you think about exchanges, you have Coinbase, you have Kraken, you have Crypto.com. You used to have Binance in the US, but they are no longer, they got kind of done for at the end of last year. Like, they finally caught up with Binance and CZ, all that action around like November or October. They got out the way. Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX, they got out the way. They got caught up in the U.S. justice system, but that's neither here nor there. It's been kind of pretty much, it's unspoken, but Coinbase has been the one that has been chosen for the U.S. to be like the main exchange for cryptocurrency, and like they are moving forward going to be a pretty big player in the space, even with you looking at the ETFs. So if you're trying to see like who is going to be custodial over the Bitcoin that's going to be held for the ETF, it's Coinbase. It's Coinbase for pretty much every company out there that's doing the ETF. So BlackRock, Fidelity, Vanguard, ARC 21, and all that type of stuff. So yeah, they're all using Coinbase. So I think the Bitcoin ETF. So the custodian for like the Bitcoin ETF, basically who's holding all the Bitcoins, it's Coinbase. So Grayscale, Coinbase, R21, Coinbase, BlackRock, Coinbase, Bitwise, Coinbase. You got Gemini for VanEck, Wisdom Tree for Coinbase, Invesco, Coinbase. Fidelity is holding it itself, self-custody. Valkyrie, Coinbase, GlobalX, Coinbase. All these are Coinbase, right? So let's just look at it, right? So right now it's sitting at $124.75. $124.75 for Coinbase right now. And right now it has a market capitalization of about $29 billion. So $29 billion. Where does that stand in terms of other companies? So if we look at, companies in the world ranked by market cap, you've got the big trillion-dollar companies like Microsoft, Apple, Saudi Aramco, Berkshire Hathaway, all these different things. So these are in the hundreds of billions of dollar range, and Coinbase is in like the tens of billions of dollars, so about 30 billion, right? You got Visa at $556 billion. So that's, Visa being comparable to Coinbase because they do have like the payment system aspect to it. Keep that in mind. $500 and something billion. JP Morgan, Chase, big bank, the Exxons of the world, we're getting into the 200 billion now. So to get 10x from where they were, they would have to get up to 290 billion. So right now they're sitting at 29 billion. So again, a 10x would be 290 billion. Bank of America's, you have, big companies like Netflix, 200 billion some dollars. All of these. And so like the thing is, I think this is such an opportunity. And again, none of this is financial advice, just kind of looking at where we are. Again, you need $29 billion to get there. And really like the opportunity is, if you know anything about options, you know that options can be pretty cheap. So we're going to look at that a little bit later as to how you can get into options for the long term while they're still cheap, and then rocket up to the upside as this moves. So looking at the chart, so Coinbase IPO'd in 2021. So what is this, a weekly chart? So yeah, this is April of 2021. You had this instance where it basically came down. So if you know anything about what was happening around this time, this was we were close to the top of the bull market. So let's look at what the Bitcoin price did. And Bitcoin's price, this is April of 2021, it came crashing down like immediately afterwards. And then there was a little recovery. But then, around, November of 2021, this is when the actual the bear market started. And it just continued on downward. So if you think about when Coinbase released, it was released in 2021 right there. Everything from that point was like on the downslope. So it didn't, it did IPO, but not at the best time if we're looking at it. For a crypto company, you need, Bitcoin and crypto, the rest of crypto to be doing very well. um, in order for your company to succeed. Because again, that's your bread and butter. Look at this chart again. We came down, and then this is that recovery period that didn't quite get as high, and then it continued down, and it followed pretty much Bitcoin's trajectory. Like it went all the way down to the downside, and then June we just kind of hung out here. It hit a low in about November, the same time as Bitcoin did, so it hit its low right there. But really, it's been in a range since was it April 2022? So up, down, up, down, up, down. Um, but finally, after almost 2 years, we've broken out of that. We've broken out of that range, and then like we came to the top, kind of rejected this area right here, and came right back in. So right now we're at two areas. So we broke above the 100 moving average, and now we're at the top side of support that used to be resistance. So this line right here used to be resistance. Boom, rejected, rejected, and now it came up to the upside. We're going to see if this can reject to the upside. So you do have that moving average right there, that support, and I think you may even have somewhat of a trend line going here. So if I look at that, that's 1, 2, 3. So maybe you could come back down here, but I think that'd be the lowest that you would go. Which again, that just adds more fuel to the fire. Like it makes it so that you can get in at cheaper prices. But if I'm looking at it, you have a couple places where this could go, and I have 4 targets on here. So again, I'm assuming that we're probably going to reject off of here because now, again, the ETFs have been approved. Coinbase is the major custodian, so they're going to start getting a lot of money in the near future, and it's just going to continue on all the way through about 2025 when I believe crypto is going to peak. It's going to peak somewhere mid to 3/4 of the way through 2025, if I'm accurate, but. It depends. Like the biggest thing with crypto right now is the regulatory landscape. Like, how is that going to look? But the demand is absolutely there, and that's going to affect Coinbase in a fantastic way. So, again, you really have a couple stops that you make. You have to get over this hump right here. Once you get past there, you may see a little pause at about $268, and the all-time high was roughly around 350. It came down and then it kind of recovered there, so we'll call that 350. That's my first target. I got to get there before you really start becoming a believer. I think it's going to do great, but this is the first test. Once you get past here, there's no resistance. Like it's just all demand at that point. Continuing to rocket that to the upside. So I think from there, I space it out incrementally, right? Every 250, so 500, 750, and potentially even 1,000. So that sounds like quite a bit of a ways off if you're only at 124, but I'm giving it a period of about about a year and a half. So we're right here now at the beginning of the year in 2024. And like saying by, June of 2025, you could very well be up here. Like if let's just say it's parabolic really. It's not, I was about to draw a trend line, but really it's parabolic. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see if we can. I'm not even gonna draw that. It's basically that's my way of thinking. And the reason I talked about the ranking of the companies earlier is again, this has a market cap of $29 billion. I think that if Visa is worth $500 billion and we're going into a bull market, this could easily absorb another $200 billion because again, there's going to be a lot of influx of money going into Coinbase as people return to the market, a lot of retail return to the market. You're going to start having other institutions outside of the ones who have ETF figure out a way to custodially to store their Bitcoin pretty much. And obviously, Coinbase is the number one for that. Like they are the number one exchange, at least I would say for Americans right now, especially that Binance and FTX are gone. It's Coinbase is like the golden child. And again, Brian Armstrong, great CEO. That's one of the things you want to look at too, right? Like who's the CEO, who's the leadership? Brian Armstrong, I definitely believe that he's got the heart to stick it out for real because there's going to be a lot of legal battles and justifications and all this different rule changes that go on in the next several years. But just seeing the way that he's moved over the past several years, it's just impressive. It's definitely impressive that he's been able to stay the test for. I don't know how long Coinbase has been around, but I would assume at least since about 2017, if not earlier. I think earlier. I want to say it was about 2012, actually. But again, adding an additional 200 billion to the market cap doesn't seem outside of the realm of possibility for me. As a matter of fact, that would put you over 1,000. So I say all that to say, let's look at what that could actually mean. So I don't really trade options often, but I do understand that, if you have leaps, right, it's basically a long-term options play to where you buy very early and you don't plan on this to expire for another year and a half. You said it to expire in about a year and a half, and just kind of let the market play out as it will. Basically, it's a long-term play. So you get in cheap now. So I've already kind of done the pre-work. This is the Coinbase logo. I mean, not the logo, the ticker. So it's roughly at $125 right now. If you wanted to buy a call option, so really you have this options chain, all these different tables, right? And right now, like if you wanted to be in the money on a call, you could do a deep in the money one and pay $100 per option. And I think you got to buy in groups of 100 because that's a contract. Or you could pay about $46 per option right now to be in the money at 120. But realistically, since this is such a long time frame, and really all I'm banking on it to do is that I believe that it will at least break the all-time high within the next year and a half. At that point, if I believe that, then I could set a long-term option. Again, you have different expiration dates at this point. So January 19th, 26th, March 15th, and then you start going into the longer ones, right? September 20th, and then you get into 2025, March and June of 2025, all the way out to January of 2026. So about a 2-year span that you could kind of do that in. And again, you could go out even further, but like, June 2025, I think that's a decent one that you can look at. So you go down here. Let's say that you want to do, I believe that it will get above 350 I believe that will get above 350 before June of 2025, so a year and a half from now. At that point, what you're looking at is, okay, $9 per option, well, roughly $9 per option. So anywhere between 30 and 70, right? Right now, 370 is cheaper. So we'll choose the 371. Those options are $9 a pop. And, if we're buying one contract, so that means you're buying 100 options. That contract's total cost is $900. So if you put $900 into an option, price range, we settled that there, and then let's calculate to see what the potential profit could be. So as long as price is above 370, as long as price is above 370 by the by June 20th of 2025, you're going to make money. At that point, you're in the money, right? Very much so in the money or at the money. And now let's look at what happens if you actually hit the target of $1,000, which from here is about an 8x. That 200 billion is a 10x, so actually this will be even steeper, right? That's saying that $900 could potentially turn into $60,000. So $60,000 for $900. I think that's pretty good odds for a play, right? That's a 60-to-1 potential risk to reward ratio. So let's say, maybe you want to put in, I don't know, close to $10,000, so $9,000. You put in $9,000, I mean, that just, actually, recalculate. Again, it just goes up even more. So $607,000 if you're putting in $9,000 at this point at these, option prices. So again, I think that is an opportunity. It's very rare that you end up finding things that are early, which I believe people are at Coinbase. We're still very much near the bottom. The fundamentals align because, again, the actual landscape of crypto has been accepting. You got the regulatory things on your side, and then you have the bull market, the halving, all these things happening all at once. That's going to absolutely bolster Coinbase's position in the market. It's going to see rapid growth over the next year and a half. So that's at least what I'm projecting. Again, I think 1,000 per share is a reasonable target based on what we're looking at. And then you have the technicals too that have lined up. Basically, just it's if you understand anything about Bitcoin's chart, Coinbase's chart makes a lot of sense as well, or any of the crypto charts, because they all tend to follow Bitcoin anyway. So Again, just to play. Listen, I like 60-1 odds. None of this is financial advice. This is definitely looking at an opportunity that you could potentially take advantage of. But yeah, I don't really have too much else. That's the play. That's the play in my mind. Coinbase is that. I'm gonna start looking at other ones too, like maybe the Bitcoin mining ones, because that's going to be huge as hash rate increases, and other exchanges that are looking at IPO, because all of them are going to appreciate based on crypto's growth, which is what all of this channel is about. Like we understand that we are in the early stages of a bull market, and we're right at the edge of where things start to get parabolic over the next 6 to 8 months for sure. Things that we're looking at. It's been a long time looking, but yeah, I think we're finally at that point where things start to get exciting again. So again, this has been Chris Talks Crypto. Check out any crypto-based resources on christalkscrypto.com, and I will see you guys on the moon. Take care.